sorry. I didn't see you.
All right, miss. No harm done. Oh, I beg your pardon, miss.
Yeah?
My hat, you're sitting on it.
Oh, how clumsy of me. Oh, I've ruined it.
Don't bother about it, please.
Oh, it was all my fault.
No, it's perfectly all right. You see?
It looks awful. Please, you must let me pay for it.
Don't give it another thought. I have a fondness for old things.
We beat him, Katy. 21-0.
I almost caught a pass.
Almost, Butterfingers.
Got another scratch on your face.
And a bump.
It's time to go. Here you think.
I'll see you Friday, guys.
Sir. For the hat, please.
For the bird, sir.
Oh, thank you, John.
Quite worth it.
Go along. That's a pretty fellow. Good morning, Miss Holstrom.
Oh, hello, Mr. Smith. I was beginning to worry. You're late today.
I had to stop and pick up something.
Oh, well, did you read the papers today?
The government services reorganization. I'm afraid your congressman's in for some stiff opposition.
I am convinced he's a stubborn, pompous man.
Oh, Congressman Morley?
Oh, of course not. Congressman Morley is open-minded and fair and intelligent. I am talking about Mr. Garrett.
I quite agree. Thank heaven for the Morleys who oppose him.
They say his proposals are idealistic and impractical.
The same kind of opposition was attempted 20 years ago. You tell your congressman to glance at the Morrison amendments. They're quite detailed and practical. He might get a few ideas.
You seem to know a lot about such things.
Only what I read in the papers. You didn't notice something.
Oh, it looks almost like new. What is this?
Just a little thank you for the pleasant talks we've had together.
Well, I know you mean well, but I really cannot accept it.
Oh, it's only candy.
If you don't mind, people who have holes in their shoes should not spend money on gifts. Get your money back and have your shoes fixed.
Hey, Katy! It's almost 12. Dad's gonna take me shopping and we'll be late.
You don't go shopping with your father with a dirty face. Oh, thank you. Look at this handkerchief. And you squandering money on candy.
Shall I see you tomorrow?
Ja, adjö då.
Adjö.
I'm going to recommend to the full committee on Monday that we drop your legislation.
I'll fight you on that.
Fight away. You'll fight alone. Right, Joe?
No sense pouring troubled waters.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Morley. Danny's ready.
Danny?
Ja, to go shopping.
Gentlemen, if you'll excuse me for a moment.
Ready, Dad?
Danny, I hate to do this, but I can't go with you right now. I'm in a meeting and I just can't leave it.
Is it going well, Mr. Morley?
Congressman Garrett is like a rock wall, and Trivers is instant indecision. If only I had more time, if I could get this issue to the people.
Oh, the people know much more than you think. Do you know they tried to reorganize government services 20 years ago?
You don't say.
Oh, there was a bill about it. Oh, I can't remember the name.
The Morrison amendments.
Yeah, the Morrison Amendment.
What did you say?
I did not say anything. You did. The Morrison Amendments. He said they're quite detailed and practical.
Who said?
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith.
Oh, he's a very nice old man. He agrees with what you're doing.
What is your Mr. Smith's first name?
I never asked.
Is he in his 70s?
Yeah?
Tall and erect?
Yeah?
Rumpled hat?
Yeah, I sat on it.
Katy, I want to talk to your Mr. Smith as soon as possible, this afternoon. It's important.
I don't understand.
Later, Katy. I've got to get back to that meeting. You just hold your horses 1 minute, son. We're going shopping after all.
Glen, we have been going around and around and around. Right now, I can't think of anything more interesting than lunch. How about you, Joe?
Splendid proposal.
Fine with me. We'll reconvene at 2 o'clock. And I'll have a little surprise for you.
A surprise.
Yes, a surprise.
Oh, Mr. Smith,
Miss Holstrom, what a pleasant surprise.
I told Congressman Morley about the Morrison Amendment.
You did? What did he say?
He wants to meet with you.
Well, that's very flattering, but I'm afraid I can't. I'm going to be busy all the afternoon.
Too busy to talk to a congressman? You should consider it an honor. Congressman Morley's a wonderful man who is dedicated to good government.
It sounds as though you might be dedicated to Mr. Morley.
Well, my personal feelings have nothing to do with it. A fine congressman has asked to talk to you, and you should go.
I'm sorry, Miss Holstrom, but I have to get my money back for the candy. I have to get my shoes fixed, and I do need handkerchiefs.
You are making fun of me, Mr. Smith.
Not at all. Until you pointed it out, I didn't realize how shabby I become. That's my mission for today.
Well, can't you do it tomorrow? Congressman Morley is waiting.
I'd rather not.
Mr. Smith, I really don't understand.
I'm an old man who feeds pigeons in the park and enjoys talking with people, especially lovely young ladies like yourself. I'd feel out of place with your congressman.
You are also a man who has ideas and who thinks. Now come, we'll be late.
I'm sorry.
A favor for me?
Very well, but on one condition, that you return the favor.
Yeah?
Dinner with me tonight. There's a lovely restaurant on the Potomac. I think you would enjoy it.
Very well. Providing we go Dutch Street.
If you insist.
I insist. You go to Congressman Morley, I go to dinner with you. We have a deal. Strange, when I spoke to Mr. Morley, he seemed to know about you.
Really?
Were you in government?
Oh, you might say that.
How long did you work for the government?
Oh, quite a few years.
Oh, and then you have Social Security.
No?
But you must be eligible.
Probably.
Mr. Smith, you're a very nice man. You're also very irritating. You have holes in your shoes, but you refuse to claim what is due you.
Well, actually, I hadn't given it very much thought.
Well, you should. It's money in the bank every month, and it would help you buy the things you need. Faster, Mr. Smith. There's a man back here. He's trying to flirt with me.
Oh, that's Charles. You can go home, Charles. I shan't need you.
Is that your car? And your chauffeur? Oh, but I thought that...
I hope it won't change anything. We shall still be friends.
Just one thing, Mr. Smith.
Yes, Miss Holstrom.
My box of candy, please. And, my $5.
Now, let me see how it fits. Yeah? There you you go.
What do you think of it, Grandma?
Very impressive.
Well, he's getting real good. You ought to see him play center.
Show me. I'm from Minnesota.
That's Missouri.
Show me anyway.
Well, in the house? Well, Katy says never in the house.
Well, I say, let's make an exception for once. Go ahead.
Well, I used to be a pretty fair second-string guard in my time. Come on, Mr. Cooper.
10, 7, 6, hop!
Oh.
Come in. Come in. I believe this is yours.
Sorry.
Ought to be ashamed, breaking a window from the inside. Go on out and do it the right way.
What's the big surprise?
Oh, don't be so impatient. Any minute. Why don't you both go upstairs and make yourselves comfortable?
Oh, yes, good.
It's after 2. Where is he?
In the last 20 years, the only date that your Mr. Smith has ever kept was with his pigeons. Believe me, Glen, he is not going to show up.
Mr. Smith, I would like for you to meet Congressman Morley
I'm glad to meet you, sir. May I please take those?
Thank you.
and his mother, Mrs. Morley.
How do you
Right.
do?
This is my associate, Mr. Cooper.
Cooper?
Mr. Cooper was confident that you would come.
But if they got the Morrison amendments, they may come in handy.
I understand you wanted to talk with me.
I certainly do, sir. And I also took the liberty of asking the subcommittee to hear your views on the reorganization issue.
Well, I was hardly prepared for an official visit. I was asked to be excused.
I wouldn't impose, but the full committee does meet on Monday. And, well, you're my last hope.
I'm sorry, Mr. Morley. I'd like to help you, but
Excuse me, Mr. Smith. What time were we to meet for dinner?
Would you resort to blackmail, Miss Holstrom?
Blackmail, Mr. Smith.
8 o'clock.
That will be fine.
Lead the way, Mr. Congressman.
Where are you going to wear it, Katy?
What?
Your Congressional Medal of Honor. You deserve it for digging George Ellery Smith out of mothballs.
Well, all this excitement, and I still don't know who he is.
When your father and mother were sparking back in Minnesota, George Ellery Smith was the most celebrated economist in all the world.
He was personal advisor to Coolidge, Hoover, and Roosevelt. And he fought like a tiger for his own kind of legislation.
He twisted men like Garrett around his little finger. And believe me, that is what he is doing now.
Mr. Smith, if memory serves, you authored a bill similar to Mr. Morley's proposal some 20 years ago.
Correct.
It encompassed the Morrison amendments, true?
Right.
It was defeated.
Unfortunately.
It was more than a defeat, it was a rout. No offense meant, sir. We all suffer our reverses.
20 years ago, I might have been premature, Mr. Garrett, but not now. Reorganization will give you more manpower at less cost, and I can prove it to you.
Mr. Smith is an authority. We would be foolish not to benefit from his experience.
Mr. Smith's experience could hardly be considered current.
Mr. Smith is here as a personal favor to me. Your rudeness is uncalled for.
Please, Mr. Morley, don't excite yourself on my account. Mr. Garrett has a very valid point there. I've been out of government for too many years. If you will excuse me, thank you, gentlemen.
I'm terribly sorry to have embarrassed you, sir.
Garrett is small fry to some of the men who have insulted me in my day.
I didn't anticipate anything like this. Come back. Help me fight him.
I've retired from the wars, Mr. Morley. I can't stomach politicians who make a career out of obstruction.
I had hoped to have you with me, sir.
Your fight, Mr. Morley. I'm going back to my pigeons. Miss Holstrom. Well, I've kept my end of the bargain. See you at 8. Good luck.
Goodbye. I'm sorry, Mr. Morley.
It's not your fault.
Mr. Smith could have helped.
If he'd wanted to. He still has the respect of a great many people, but
Was he afraid of a fight?
that's one of the things wrong with politics, Katy. So many decent people are afraid of a good fight. Katy,
Yeah, Mr. Morley.
don't worry too much about it. You did your best.
Good evening, Mr. Smith. Your favorite table is ready.
Thank you, Alfred.
Oh, I'm afraid this table is not good. There's a draft. I think Mr. Smith will be more comfortable over there.
I have the menu planned, Alfred. That is, if you don't mind.
Oh, not at all. I'm sure it will be perfect.
Good. We'll start with martinis, very dry. And a Neapolitan salad with just a trace of garlic. And the duck à l'orange and asparagus with your special sauce.
You are allowed to drink martini.
Of course.
Well, then it's all right, but not the duck and no sauce on the asparagus.
Why not?
It's too rich. When a man reaches 60, he should watch his diet.
60. I'm 78. I've never dieted in my life.
And it's about time you did. Mr. Smith will have the lean steak well done and no salt. This is a lovely place. Oh, the music is just wonderful.
Do you like to dance?
Oh, yeah.
Good. So do I. Let's go.
Oh, no, the music is much too fast. We'll wait for a waltz. When a man reaches your age, he must conserve his energies and take care of himself. I want you to enjoy your retirement.
Alfred, forget that baby food and bring me the duck.
Certainly, Mr. Smith.
Enjoy my retirement, eh? So the good congressman sent you to do his dirty work.
I don't understand.
I can quote him. Get Smith, we need him. Get his dander up, make him want to fight. Well, you can go back and tell Morley it didn't work.
Well, it was not Mr. Morley's idea. It was mine.
Oh, I see. You think I would let your congressman down?
I do. And not only Mr. Morley, but the country.
I've been out of government 20 years, Katy, and I'm staying out.
I think I'd like to leave now.
Katy, please listen. My service wasn't just a job, it was an obsession. There was nothing else. No marriage, no home, no children. I am an old man, Katy. Don't I have the right to peace and quiet?
Retirement is for people who have nothing left to give.
I gave enough.
What is enough, Mr. Smith?
I headed the Security Commission, made the World Bank possible, tax laws, embargo acts. Isn't that enough?
Not for you, Mr. Smith.
Medals from France, England, the Netherlands, citations from presidents, and the insults and humiliations of the Garretts of my day, always there, always obstructing me.
And you beat them, and you made wonderful things happen.
Yes, and they beat me. The Morrison amendments, the one legislation that meant the most, was killed by these short-sighted opportunists.
They voted you down, and you have been brooding for 20 long years. Ah, what a waste. You have so much to offer, and they need you now.
You can't shame me, Katy. I'm an old man. I've earned the right for peace and quiet. I just want to be plain Mr. Smith in the park. Can't we keep it that way?
No, Mr. Smith, I don't think we can.
So in essence, gentlemen, it is the majority opinion that Mr. Morley's proposals be tabled for the time being.
Thank you. Does a representative from Minnesota wish to be heard?
I certainly do, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, Congressman Morley's report seems to be quite lengthy. Couldn't we just dispense with the reports and get right down to voting on the question?
May I respectfully suggest that we hear Mr. Morley's views, Mr. Garrett? And after Congressman Morley's report, I should like to say a few words about the proposal.
By what authority is he here in closed session of this committee?
This is a closed session, Mr. Smith. Unless you have the proper authorization, you'll have to leave.
Oh, here's my authority, Mr. Chairman.
Please be seated, Mr. Smith.
May the committee know the auspices of Mr. Smith's intrusion?
You may. Mr. Smith has been appointed special advisor to the committee by the President of the United States. Is that satisfactory, Congressman Garrett?
The president,
And what precisely does that mean, Mr. Trivers?
It means, sir, that what's good enough for the president is good enough for me. Right?
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Could possibly be
Katy, the farmer's daughter. You can't resist that gal.
Afternoon game show fun gets underway at 5 Eastern with Tic-Tac-Toe, followed by Face the Music and the $100,000 Name That Tune. Now stay with us for the Patty Duke Show, next on CBN.
So disarming, crowns turn upside down. We owe a debt to Sweden. She's just what we've been needing. So glad the farmer's daughter came to town.